1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oof, the number. Drum roll, please. I was shocked. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is such an exciting video. We are going to be doing an in-depth I almost said bookstore tour, bookshelf tour. We are going to be going through every single book I have on my shelves. There is more than this too. And also how many books are on my physical TBR. So I'm going to be telling you guys what books I have read, haven't read, and then at the end we will have a final count of how many books are on my physical TBR. So before we start, out of this, my TBR cart, how many books do we think I have on my physical TBR? I'm going to let you guys guess in the comments, and then whoever's closest, we can do something fun. Whoever's closest, I will reply back to your comment and you can pick my next read. So you comment me back a book, I will read it. All right, I am gonna guess that I have 225 on my physical TBR. Alright, on that note, let's hop in. So I'm gonna start with my big shelf, go this shelf, and then we'll talk about the books on top because those are like my special favorites, you know, those are important. And then we'll do the TBR cart and the other random places I have books. I also have some books pulled off my shelves now, whether they are in the process of being read or just my September TBR. So those are not on my shelves, but we will still chat about them. Alrighty, shelf number 1. This is fantasy and mostly series. So first up we have this, I think it's the UK cover of Divine Rivals, which is one of my favorite books of all time. I've read this one 5 stars. And then over here we just have the Kiss of Deception series, which is part of the Dance of Thieves world. This series technically goes first. I read all of these and then the Dance of Thieves books as well. I gave the Kiss of Deception series, I gave like 4.25 stars each almost. And then same with Dance of Thieves, so highly rated series. And then below it we have the Kingdom of the Wicked series. I have only read the first one. I ended up giving it like 2.5 stars. I really couldn't get into it, so with that I have not read these two. So we have our first 2 on my physical TBR. And then same with this series, honestly. I read Bonecryer's Moon recently here and I also gave it I think like 2 stars or 1.5. I really could not get into this at all. So with that I have had no desire to pick up the second one. So we have our 3rd book on my physical TBR. And then next, Divine Rivals, Ruthless Vows. Again, as I said, I've already read Divine Rivals, so that is not on my physical TBR. I read Ruthless Vows 2. This one, it's not as good as Divine Rivals, but I still really enjoyed it because the love I have for these characters is like unmatched. They are everything to me. So I did still enjoy Ruthless Vows. I think I gave it 4, somewhere around there. So I've read that. And then this stack, I have read the entire Powerless series. I gave, I think all of these around a 4 star. Honestly, when I first read Powerless, I didn't love it as much as everyone else did, but once I read Powerful, I really fell more in love with the story. And then Reckless, when I first finished it, I was really into it, but then looking back on it, I'm like, not much happened. Little disappointed in Reckless. Down here, I read These Violent Delights recently, really enjoyed it. I think I gave it around a 4 star, so I really want to get to this one, but I have not yet. So there is the 4th book on my physical TBR. I have not read the Atlas 6. I have not read If We Were Villains. I have not read Twin Crowns or Babel. Honestly, these two scare me because they are like dark academia books, and I tried to read Ninth House and I absolutely hated it. I chucked it across the room. That's why I've been putting those up. But yeah, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more to add to my physical TBR. Over here, again, 4 more to add to my physical TBR. This one, I think I got it at a garage sale. I haven't really seen anything about it, but Chloe Gong has a blurb. Don't really know what that's about. I have not read any of these books. This one I was really excited to get to. It's about like an assassin, but I haven't got to it yet. This one has been on my radar recently. I've just heard it compared to ACOTAR a lot, so I really wanted to get to it, especially recently. This is the sequel, so again, another 4 to add to my physical TBR. This section over here is, oh, it's all Leigh Bardugo actually. I've read these 3. This is the Shadow and Bone series. I DNF'd Ninth House at like 200 pages and it was a hard DNF. I kind of despise this book. I can't get into it at all. This one I have not read. These 2 I read and absolutely loved. loved. I have not read the King of Scars series from her yet. Don't ask me why, because I don't have a good reason. So that is 2 more for my physical TBR. Okay, next shelf. This one, again, is just fantasy. There's some, like, other types of fantasy mixed in here. I don't know. It's just kind of random, honestly. So this stack over here, I have not read any of. We have Renegades. I've heard amazing things about this. I don't really have a good reason as to why I haven't read it. Priority of the Orange Tree. I've heard great things, but honestly, it's the size of this book that is scaring me. Same with City of Brass. I feel like I've heard good things too. Furyborn. I really haven't heard anything about this one. I feel like that's kind of making me not read it. I haven't heard anyone say it's good, you know? And then this one is the sequel. And then we have the Night Circus, which I feel like I haven't heard the best things about. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for my physical TBR. I have read both of these, and these two are honestly some of my top favorite fantasy books. And Ember in the Ashes, this series is incredible. I remember last winter I listened to almost the entire thing on audiobook while I was doing a puzzle, and it was like pouring snow out, so it was such a vibe. I love that series so much. Please go read it. Nevernight, I read this one and I gave this book 5 stars. It was so good and such like a high, deep fantasy book. There was just so much going on, and I just loved it so much. I really enjoyed following our main girl character, and I loved her. I have not read the Poppy War, so that is 1 for the TBR. This stack I have not read much of either. Oh, I honestly forgot about this book. I really wanted to read this at one point, but I just never did. Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I've read most of the Cinder series by her and really enjoyed it, so I really want to get to this, but I honestly kind of forgot I had it. Serpent and Dove. I have not read yet, but I remember when I bought it, I think the cashier said it was good, so there's that. Flamecaster I picked up randomly at Half Price Books. I have not read that. The Iron King I have not read either. A Deadly Education, I remember I picked this up because Rachel Catherine was talking about it and enjoyed the series, so want to pick this up. It's also like so short. Vespertine, I think that was a Barnes Book of the Month pick or something like that once. House on the Cerulean Sea. Maybe it's like the 3rd or 4th one, just came out recently. I really want to get to that. It sounds just so cozy and fun. Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I think this is like the original cover. I found it at Half Price Books, and I'm really proud of that. I really like that cover. Daughter of the Pirate King I have read, and I really enjoyed it. I gave that book like a 4 star. I really enjoyed our main girl in that. She was such a baddie. I loved her. So that is 8 for the physical TBR. Alright, this stack, I have read Legendborn. I did enjoy it, but this follows like the King Arthur lore, I guess, and I really was confused about that. So that kind of influenced my reading experience because I didn't know what was going on. So that has made me push off Bloodmarked. So I really want to get to this, so convince me if you've read it. And then we have another kind of random stack here. I have 3 Lawrence Thalassa books. I have read Bewitched. I haven't read either of these, but honestly the backs of them just sounded so interesting, so I picked up both of these. I think they're a part of different series. Like, she has multiple series. I think these are separate ones. I have not read this book. I think it's a show though. Jade City, I started when I was in a big slump, but I softy NF'd it. I definitely will get back to it. Realmbreaker, I have not read, but I want to get to. This is the author of, what is it, the Red Queen book. Sorcery of Thorns, I have not got to either. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the physical TBR. Yay, I've read this entire stack. I'm so proud. So on this stack we have The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I really enjoyed this book and also the movie. If you haven't read or watched the movie, I definitely recommend, but I am a very, very big Hunger Games stan. Like, I literally joined archery because of it when it was that time. The Caraval series, this series was okay to me. It was kind of confusing and weird at some points, but I did still enjoy it and like the vibes of it. And then after that comes the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. This series was absolutely incredible. The 3rd book, which came out last year, honestly was kind of a letdown though. I feel like it fell very flat, and following the 2nd book, The Ballad of Never After, it was a very big letdown because this book is like a 5 star. And then just to get these out of the way first, I have not read Fable or Namesake. I just love to display them like this. These 3 I have not read either. This book I got at Goodwill, and it honestly was giving like 6 of Crows vibes, so I picked it up. I've not read this one or this one. So that is 5 for the physical TBR. This stack, I have read all but A Little Life. Don't ask me why this book is here. Just such a random spot, but I didn't really have anywhere else to put it. This series I absolutely loved. I read it on Kindle Unlimited and finally am collecting the physical books. I thought this series was so good. It was so developed, and I loved the fantasy fantasy. I loved the romance. It was so good. The Shadow Me series, I am sick of talking and thinking about it, so we are gonna move on. This series took me so long to get through. You know, towards the end of the series, I was just really sick of it. So this stack over here, it's kind of random. This book down here, I was so excited to start and I thought I was gonna absolutely love it, but I kind of soft DNF'd it. I think I'm like 50 pages in maybe, and it was just really confusing to me. Like, I was having a hard time grasping who was who. The Stolen Heir I have not got to by Holly Black, but I definitely want to. I have not read A Darker Shade of Magic. I have not read Tith, ? I have read the Cruel Prince trilogy. This is one of the first fantasy series I read, and honestly, I really enjoyed it at the time. If I reread it now, I don't know how I'd feel about it, but I think I'd still enjoy it because there was parts of it that I loved. I have also not read The Curse Workers by Holly Black. Okay, this shelf, I'm seeing a lot that I've read, so feeling good about this one. This whole stack I have read most of. So starting at the bottom, we have the One Dark Window series. I really enjoyed this series, honestly. It was very like dark and gothic vibes, which I feel like I enjoyed. I really enjoyed this world, and I thought that the author did such a good job with our characters, with the world, with the like kind of task that they had to go on. So I loved that. I read Red Rising, but I haven't got to the second and third one yet, but I loved Red Rising. It definitely took me a very long time to get to, or to get through, but when I finished it, I was like, wow, like this is really good. So I definitely think I should probably reread it and try and pick up on more facts and stuff before I read the second and third one, because I think this book took me almost like 6 months to a year to finish, but I do feel like I understood it okay, but I feel like I could definitely understand it better. So yeah, I haven't got to those two. The Prison Healer series, I love this series. I'm sorry. I think these all like just under 5-star ratings. I love this series so much. I really want to reread this actually. Maybe I should, because they're pretty short and I love them so much. So I definitely recommend this series. Some people say it's slow. I didn't feel that way at all. So these books here, I have read these two. They are part of the Madoran Chronicles series by Lynette Nani. This is books 2 and 3. I thought this was book 1 when I ordered it, but I was wrong. I've really enjoyed this series so far. It's about our main girl Alex, who she gets transported into this like random magical world when she's just a mere human. I am on the last book in the series right now, so kind of sad to see it end, so I'm kind of putting it off. Three Dark Crowns. I think I also just picked this one up at a garage sale. Not really sure what it's about. Have not read it. The Zodiac Academy series. I feel like I'm gonna love it, but it is so long and intimidating, so please convince me to read it, because I feel like I'll love it. Because every time I see a TikTok and it's like, my favorite books ever, they're always books that I love as well, and then this one's in there too, and I'm like, guys, I know I need to start it, but I'm scared. Alright, this stack, I am seeing one that I've read. The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. I have not read. I did read The Silent Patient by him, and I did enjoy that, but this is like, I feel like a completely different vibe, so I haven't started that yet, but I think I should, because I do enjoy Greek mythology and that type of stuff. The Starless Sea, I have not read. I think I thrifted this book, and it just goes with the stack, so that's that. The Familiar, I have not got to yet. I feel like Leigh Bardugo and I, we were besties when I read Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows. Like, I loved her, and then after that, I started Ninth House, and since I DNF'd that book hard, and that's like the only book I've ever hard DNF, I haven't really wanted to pick up another one of her books, so if you've read this, convince me. Lightlark, I read. I kind of also hated this book. The ending absolutely me off. I am kind of not wanting to read the second one and just spoil it for myself because of how it ended. It was actually stupid. Anyway, The Longest Ride I have not read, but I've seen the movie, so yeah. Circe, Madeline Miller. I also have Song of Achilles, but I think that's in the basement somewhere. This one, well, actually both of them, I guess, I'm scared to get to. I've heard that they're incredible, but I'm scared I'm not gonna love them, so I haven't read either of those. Storm Dancer, Jay Kristoff. This is the same author of Nevernight, which I loved, so I think I got this at Half Price Books, so yeah, wanting to get to that one eventually. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the physical TBR. All right, over here, this is kind of just random books. I can't explain it. So I have not read this one. I think it's like kind of like a fall witchy book. Maybe I'll get to that soon. The Wishing Game have not got to. Emily Wilds have not got to. Lovely War I did read. I just gave this book 5 stars in my latest video if you want to go watch that. The Grace Year, I feel like I've heard good things about it. I don't know why I haven't started it yet. My Year of Rest and Relaxation, I also thrifted this book. I'm definitely scared to read it because I've just heard very like mixed things about it. And then I have not read either of these. This is a Christmas dog book. This one I've not got to, and this one I really want to, but it is so long. I think I read like the first chapter recently and then just like couldn't commit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for the physical TBR. Okay, down here I feel pretty good. I've read a decent amount of these. So this whole stack I have read. Oh wait, I lied. I so lied. I read the Inheritance Games trilogy. I have not got to Brothers Hawthorne because I feel like I did not hear the greatest things about it, so I definitely have been putting it off. I read the whole Natural series. I feel like I liked the Naturals better than the Inheritance Games. I feel like I was just more into the story through those, but both are super great, fast-paced mystery series, so I loved all of them. Next, down here, I have not read this one. I have read these two. This series is also by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I didn't like this one as much as her other two. I found them kind of boring and hard to get into. I have not read the Truly Devious trilogy. I have not read Sight. I am like, I want to say like 150 pages into this book, but it's just getting kind of weird, so medium DNF'd. Alright, this stack I have also read a good amount of. I have not read One of Us is Lying or One of Us is Next or The Cousins. I have not read 5 Survive, but I have read the rest of these. Oh my god, I'm such a liar. I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but I have not read the second or third one. I have no reason as to why, because I gave A Good Girl's Guide to Murder 5 stars. I also really loved the show. It was so good, so I highly recommend, but I really need to get to these two. I've also read The Reappearance of Rachel Price and loved it. It was so good to me. I think I gave it 4.25, 4.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the physical TBR. Alright, over here, kind of depressing. I have not read either of these. This is like kind of like a ballet YA mystery book. Rachel Catherine read that series and I think she enjoyed it, so I'm excited to get to it. Not read that. I have not read Listen for the Lie, but I've heard amazing things. I've also not read the Paris novel, or this was like the Barnes & Noble Cafe. It was like $5 with a purchase, so I got it. It seems very like Swifty mystery coded. I have read The Storied Life of A.J. Fickery and loved it. That book made me sob. I've also not read 5 Broken Blades. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for the physical TBR. Alright, we are moving on to my mostly romance shelf. I do feel kind of better about this one, but not really. Starting with this stack, this is kind of like my favorite authors stack. I read this, gave it 5 stars, also 5 stars. Gave this 2 stars, kind of hated it. Can't really explain why. I have not read The Friend Zone yet by Abby Jimenez. I do want to soon. Read Yours Truly, gave it like 4.5. Read Part of Your World, gave it like 4.25. Absolutely loved this one so much. I do have more Emily Henry books somewhere, but honestly, I don't know where my copy of Beach Read went, but I read People Would Be on Vacation, gave it 3 stars. Didn't really love it. Same with Book Lovers. These are kind of the ones I didn't love by her, but the other ones I did love. Funny Story, I gave 5 stars. Happy Place, I think I gave like 4.25 maybe. I love Emily Henry so much. She is a queen. Over here, we have some hardcover books, mostly Catherine Center. I have not read In a New York Minute. I just finished this book a couple weeks ago, How to Walk Away. I absolutely loved it. I think I'm gonna give it 4.25 maybe? I don't know. It's like close to a 5, but I don't think it's quite there. Read The Bodyguard, loved it, gave it around a 4 stars. I have not read Hello Stranger, but I think I have a Libby hold for it, so just waiting on that. But for this area, we have 1, 2, 3 for the physical TBR, so that's not too bad compared to over here how it was. And then this is kind of the pretty stack. I love it so much. I have not read this book. I have not read this. I did read The Flat Share. Honestly, I forget I read this. Like every time I look at this book, I'm like, have I read that? I think I gave it like a 3 star. I love the cover of this one, but the book just kind of fell flat. The Two Lives of Lydia Bird, I have not read, but I did read One Day in December by Josie Silver, and I didn't really love it, so I guess I'm kind of like scared of it because of that. Dating Dr. Jill, I've actually wanted to get to this one kind of recently. Icebreaker, okay, this book, I really wanted it for Christmas, I think 2 years ago, but recently I feel like people in my personal life have told me they DNF'd it or didn't like it, so that's kind of been putting me away from it. Float, I read, I think last summer, and I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was so much fun and just so fast-paced and literally the definition of a perfect summer read. I have not read Wild Love by Elsie Silver, but I need to because I've heard incredible things. I have also not read a Lucy Score book yet, which is kind of crazy. Like, how can I claim to be a booktuber and not read a Lucy Score book? But I really want to get to probably things we never got over soon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oof. I'm gonna have to move these Legos. Hang on. This stack, it's kind of by color. I just like these colors together, so that's what's going on here. I have not read this. I have not read this. What book even is this, the firefighter one? Yeah. Okay. I have read this one and I really enjoyed it. Anything royal, I just want to read. And this was so funny because like it was like a small town and the royals come in and it was just such a fun dynamic and I really enjoyed it. I have not read this one, but I really want to because that looks like my dog. I've not read this. Really want to get to this one because I've just heard it's like funny. And these are just like cute rom-coms that I haven't got to. I have read all of these though. I actually really loved It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker. I kind of want to reread them because I don't know, they just really hit for me. I really enjoyed them. Also, these 3 in the Dial A for Aunties series I really enjoyed as well. Dial A for Aunties is like a 5-star. The other 2 kind of get a little unhinged, but they're still really good. I have also not read Vera Wong's Unsolicited Date, that book, but I do want to because I love Jessie Q Sutanto's writing and how funny she is. Alright, this is mostly holiday books. I have read most of these. I read this book. Didn't necessarily love it. I think I gave it 2.5 maybe. I have not read Holly Jolly Cowboy. I have read these 2. These both are basically like the same book almost. Like look at the font even. But I really enjoyed both these. I definitely liked the Holiday Swap more. It was so much fun and I definitely want to reread this. Mistletoe and Mr. Right I have not read. I read Love Light Farms. Absolutely loved it and I definitely want to start this one soon. In the Weeds, it is the sequel. Over here we have, it starts down here as like summer and then I just get into author. I read Our Final Love Song. I enjoyed this one. It was pretty good. Not something to think about like ever though. Alex Approximately though, I actually loved this book. It was so good. It was a good like summer YA romance mystery. I feel like there was kind of a little mystery going on. It was really good. I loved it. The Summer of Lost Letters I have not read. Same with Beach Q. I just got this recently, but I haven't done it yet. I have not read Love Theoretically. I have read The Love Hypothesis. This book I didn't love. I think it's like a solid 3-star for me. I just didn't love it as much as other people do. I have not read Check-in Mate. I have read Bride. I did enjoy this. I thought that Allie Hazelwood did actually do a good job writing fantasy for that. Props to her, and I do love her writing. She's just so funny and such a good author. Read The Spanish Love Deception. This was one of the first books I really read that was like book talk famous, and I really enjoyed it when I read it. Don't know how I feel if I reread it now, but these I have not read. Alright, this shelf is pretty packed, and I haven't read a lot of these. Starting with this giant stack, I have not read Just Last Night, but I definitely want to since Haley Pham has raved about it. I did just read another one of this author's books, and I didn't really love it though, so that has kind of been pushing that one off for me. I did read Summer Sisters, gave it a 2-star, kind of hated it. One day I tried to get into it. I think I got like 50 pages in and then I kind of hard DNF'd it. I did read The Wake Up Call. This book was okay. It was set in the holiday time. It was pretty good, but it wasn't a favorite. Love Interest I really want to get to because again, Haley Pham recommended it and said she loved it. Maggie Moves On. I think this one looks so cute and I really want to get to this one because the premise just sounds so good. How it's like HGTV style. Have not read Forever and Ever. I did read Archer's Voice. I really loved it and I really love Mia Sheridan. Every book by her that I've read, I've only read 2, but they've both been like 4.5 plus, so that's a good sign. I need to read more from her. Have not read Brutal Prince, and I have read the rest of these. These are all just like YA kind of books up here. The Love and Gelato series, it takes place, I think all of them in Italy, and I really loved this series, especially the third one I really enjoyed and the first one. But the second one's also fun too. I definitely recommend. Tell Me Three Things I read recently. It's kind of like at a school setting and I really enjoyed it as well. I thought it was really fun. Lately I've been really liking YA books. So this stack, I have not read an Elle Kennedy book yet. I don't know why I keep putting off The Deal. I feel like it'd be a fun time. But yeah, I just haven't read it yet. I've also not read a Mariana Zapata book. I want to, but they're just so long. One day I definitely will because I feel like I've just heard incredible things. I've read the To All the Boys I Loved Before series. I think I read this like 3 years ago and also when I was younger. Same with the Summer I Turned Pretty. I've read this twice within the last couple of years, I think, and then also I've read it probably 5 years ago, I think. I read A Princess for Christmas. I was so excited for this book, but it definitely kind of let me down. It felt just very long, but I did still enjoy it. Not read The Bride Test. Okay, this might be like my favorite section of my shelf because I just love these colors together. I have not read My Roommate is a Vampire, but maybe this fall I've not read You Deserve Each Other, but I feel like I've heard good things about it, so I really want to. Have read Ghosted, absolutely loved it. This book is incredible. I have not read Butchered and Blackbird either, but maybe this fall. Why haven't I read this? I need to. I have not read this book either, or this one. I really want to get to this one though, because I feel like I've heard great things. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, this shelf is kind of very random. So down here we have Love and Other Great Expectations. This is like a summary book where our main girl, she studies for, I don't know, I think it's over the summer in the UK, and I feel like I just love books that are set abroad, so I really enjoyed that one actually. I have read Begin Again. I have not read The Getaway List. I have this right now on Libby, so I will be reading it soon. I have read all of these selection books and loved them all. I'm sorry. I have not read 1,000 Heartbeats by her, but I have read The Wedding Date. This middle section, don't ask me my system for this. I have literally no clue. This book I have not read, but when I first heard about it, it sounded really good. Don't remember what it's about now, but have not read it. I am scared of this book. I'm reading 1,000 Boy Kisses right now, and if that doesn't traumatize me, I might be reading this. If you get the hint of what video I'm filming. This one I kind of randomly picked up at Target. It looks good. Cleopatra and Frankenstein. Dude, this book has been in the back of my mind for months. I cannot stop thinking about reading it, but with that, I feel like I have high expectations. So that is 4 for the physical TBR. Okay, this stack, have I read all of these? Okay, I've read almost all from this stack. Yay me. Betting on You by Lynn Painter. I really loved Better Than the Movies and The Do-Over by her, but this one, Betting on You, I did not really enjoy this at all. Like, I think I gave it 2 stars maybe, somewhere around there. Well, if I didn't give it then 2 stars, I think it's 2 stars now. But it just felt so tropey to me and kind of cringy. Didn't love that one, but I did love these two. I gave them both like right around 5 stars, I think. Love Wager, Wrong Number, Happily Never After. These are her adult romances, and these ones down here are her YA ones. Her adult ones I definitely like less than the YA ones, but these were all still good. I think I gave these all like 3.5. I still loved them all. Sarah Adams, I love her. The Cheat Sheet, I think I gave 5 stars when I originally read it. It was so good to me, and I just like the football aspect and how he's famous and she's not, I guess. The rule book did fall flat for me though. Again, I think like 2.5 star read, which is kind of sad because it's in the cheat sheet world, so I thought I'd like it, but I didn't. When in Rome and Practice Makes Perfect, these two I absolutely loved. Highly recommend those two. I loved the small town aspect, and it was just adorable. I loved the characters so much, and Sarah Adams is such a good writer, and her books are so quick. I have read Summer Broken Rules, which I gave like 5 stars. I loved it, and then I read What Happens After Midnight, and I gave it like 2.53. Didn't really love it. I have not read Maybe Meant to Be because, again, since I read this after the Summer Broken Rules, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna hate this or love it, so I've been putting it off. I have not read the Soulmate Equation, but I did read Love in Other Words. Sorry if I look crazy, I was just aggressively rubbing my eye. But now we are gonna get to the top part of my bookshelf, which is all my favorite books, so I'll kind of talk about them and why they're my favorites, but none of them are on my physical TBR. So first up, we have the Magnolia Park series. I have the original covers and also the new like shoe ones. I read all of the books with the original covers to start, but I like those covers more. So when I reread the series and annotate it, I'm gonna choose the new covers to do that in because the old ones are just like so precious to me. I just wanted to put that out there. I ordered this from Amazon UK, the like old cover version of Into the Dark. To me, the Magnolia Park series is one of my favorites because it's really kind of like a character study, and although I wouldn't necessarily want to be friends or date any of these characters myself, I love learning about them from an outside perspective, and I just feel like Jess's writing is so beautiful. There's so many good quotes and just dialogue in this series, so I love it. And then up here I have 2 cards from Emily Lawless's website, and then I have the Crescent City books. I have the original ones. I really want to get a hard copy of Crescent City 1 to match these two, and then I do have the special editions. If you watch my room redoing video or bookshelf redoing, you know that this fell from here here all the way down to my foot. Crescent City. I just felt like this series was so well written, and I really like the world of Crescent City and how there's so many different creatures and characters. I don't know, I just really enjoyed Crescent City, actually. I don't know why the Eiffel Tower's there, just ignore. And then I have my most prized possessions, the original copies of the ACOTAR series. I got these off of Mercari. Yeah, I love them so much. They are my most prized possessions. Over here I have my Fourth Wing books. I just have them like this. I really wanted to display this copy, so I just put the other ones like that. It's like the holiday edition of Fourth Wing, which I kind of regret buying, but I don't know, I like it. I loved Fourth Wing. Iron Flame. Guys, can we talk about the fact that I read Iron Flame in one day just so I could put the reading vlog up next day? That's like insanity. Someone tell me to stop. I literally had to go outside and touch grass, and I think I still have a headache from that. No, I'm joking, but like, it was crazy. And then we have two of my favorite romance books. Just for the Summer is like the most beautiful book ever. I love it so much. I mean, the cover, the writing, everything, I love it. Definitely one of my favorites, and the romance in it is absolutely incredible. They are one of my favorite couples ever. Unwanted by Mia Sheridan. Again, I love this cover as well, and I really enjoyed the storyline of this book. I absolutely loved how Mia Sheridan told this story. I feel like it was such just like a crazy story to tell, and she absolutely killed it. And then I have Under the Surface up here. I don't think this necessarily is like one of my favorite books in the sense that it deserves top shelf, but this was my first ever ARC I got sent. For that reason, it is up here. I have the ACOTAR coloring book. I have not colored in it yet because honestly I am scared to mess it up because I'm a perfectionist, so that's that. If you have a chance, like, go to your bookstore and just look through this. The artwork is incredible. And then we have my pride and joy, the ACOTAR series. I love this series so much with all of my heart. It really kind of just sparked my love for fantasy, just showed me Sarah J Maas, and I have loved everything she has written. Really, I owe it all to ACOTAR. The series is incredible. I want to reread it so bad. Okay, I do have my TBR cart still, but I also have a couple series off on another little shelf, so I'm gonna quickly go through those first because they're kind of like the top shelf ones. Like, I've read most of the books and they're favorites. So down here I have Throne of Glass and Heartstopper. Kind of a random combination, but I didn't have room for Heartstopper anywhere else. Throne of Glass is the best series ever written. I will stand by that. I'm sorry. It is my favorite series ever. It is the best books I've ever read. That's all I'm gonna say, because just read it. Trust me. I have this little deer dish thing I got at an estate sale, and I thought it'd be so cute by my Throne of Glass books. And then I have the Heartstopper series. I feel like I would love to put this right here where my Catherine Center books are, because I just feel like the colors would look so good there, because that's like the colors of my other books. For now, they're here until I do some rearranging. I have only read the first two. I have not got to the third and fourth yet, simply because I'm trying not to rush through the series, because I will rush through the series because I'm loving it so much. That is this kind of mini shelf, and now we'll do my physical TBR cart. All right, it is physical TBR cart time. So yeah, most of these, if not all, I have not read yet. Starting off here, we have Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. Have not got to Kill. Wait, I read this one. Guys. This book took me so long to get through, but I did complete it. I have not read this one. I really want to get to Belladonna. I feel like I would actually really enjoy it. Assistant to the Villain. I know the second one just came out soon, so I definitely want to get to this. This one's kind of just like a fall type book, so maybe soon I will get to it. These two I have not read either, and same with the rest of them. But all of these are books I definitely want to get to eventually. This is, I think Sarah first talked about this series. It's like fairy tale retellings. I think this one's The Little Mermaid. So let's count these and add them to the count. Down here, there's really no organization to this. I have The Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco, Grimmel's Girls, Bridge Kingdom, X's and O's, Everything I Know About Love. I am somewhat into the book, but it's kind of just one I'll read every so often. Rock, Paper, Scissors, I've read and loved. Probably my favorite thriller of all time. I have not read this one, this one, but I did read Never, and I strongly dislike this book. Okay, down here is like the randomest books ever again. I have Binding 13, which I really want to get to soon. I feel like I'm either gonna love it or hate it, and I feel like I'm gonna love it. One Italian Summer, House of Roots and Ruin. I read, what's it called? The first book in that series, and I really enjoyed it, so I got the second one and also another book by her, Small Favors. Plot Twist, I have not read. Love Redesigned, I have not read. Alright, here is what is in this little corner. This is The 1000th Floor, have not read. The Matchbreaker Summer, have not read. Joint Custody, I have read. The High Mountain Court, I have not read. Stephen King's On Writing, I have not read. Wilder Girls, I have not read. The Chestnut Spring series, I have not read the 3rd through 5th books, so that is 3 more to the physical TBR. Last section, guys. So this section I have Crave, have not read. Tomorrow, have not read. This is just a hardcover first edition of Six of Crows extra that I've read the Six of Crows. Have not read Ace of Spades, has not read The Most Likely Club, have read Funny, what is this called? Funny You Should Ask, have not read. Once More with Feeling, I have not read either, but I got this at a garage sale for literally $1. I have heard terrible things about this book, honestly, but it was $1 at a garage sale, so I thought maybe I could get $1 worth of enjoyment out of it. Have not read Always Be My Duchess, and I have read Mary Jane and Shipped. These are both great summer books. I enjoyed these both. They're not like favorites, but I still enjoyed them. I have also not read The One. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, as I mentioned before, I have random books in this pile. Most of these I am in the middle of or are in the process of being in videos. So these are books that I am for sure reading this month, basically, so I am not counting these on my physical TBR right now because they're just in process, basically. Thousand Boy Kisses I'm in the middle of, and then The French Kiss in the middle of. These Gilded Wolves I am reading next for a video. Same with The Dead Romantics and Happily Ever After playlist. I am in the middle of The Nightingale, in the middle of Trial Sun Queen. This book is finished, and then I am also in the middle of The X-Files. That is what this stack is. I'm not going to count these towards my physical TBR because most of them I'm in the middle of, and then these 3 I am reading this month for sure for videos. So yeah, now let's get the final count. Okay, it is time for the final number of books that are on all my shelves in my room that I have not read yet. Get your guesses in down below, and whoever's closest will get to pick my next read, and you can pick one of my physical TBR books. So the number, drumroll please. 183 books. I was shocked. I was originally gonna estimate that I had 250. So I'm pretty proud. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I feel proud. Give myself a pat on the back. But yeah, I could have been off slightly, but overall, I'm happy with that. Let me know what your guess was, if you doubted me or not. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed my little bookshelf tour. You know, now when you see this in the back of my videos, you'll know that I haven't read that book. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave it down below. This is just kind of how I like them organized. I really like having series and authors together, and also colors. Like if I can do both, like this shelf, I love that. That is my bookshelves. If you liked it, let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.